The Psychology of Making Your Bed and Other Seemingly Trivial Convictions by Joshua Sharland, collaborator in the Enlightened Network. Some time ago, I saw this video of a general talking about making his bed. He said something about starting the day with a small win, and that propelled him towards another small win. And these small wins over time helped him become a better person and helped propel him to the rank of general. That was the gist of his spiel anyway. Since then, I thought about this idea of small wins. Do they really matter? And if they do, how often do they affect our psychology? And conversely, what happens when we accrue small losses time and time again? Are small wins important? I think they are, but I think it would be beneficial to clarify just what I think the win in this scenario is. Let's take the initial example of making our bed. We could say it's a win to have a made bed, to feel the calming effect of a tidy room, to feel centered and organized, all positive mental outcomes. But I think the real win comes in the form of trust in ourselves. What does making our bed have to do with trust, you might ask? Well, nothing really. The trust comes into play because chances are the night before, as we went to sleep, we said to ourselves, I'm going to make my bed first thing tomorrow morning. Then we got up and did it. Making the bed in this scenario is just a vehicle for honoring ourselves. This is the real win. Doing what we tell ourselves we will do. This is one of the most important gifts we can give to ourselves. Following through on our own convictions. The point might be better illustrated from its reverse position. What happens when we do not do what we say we will? When we tell ourselves over and over that we will accomplish a goal, and we do not follow through. We tell ourselves that we will change a behavior, and we do not. No big deal, right? If we think about the emotional processes that accompany this scenario, I would say it might be a very big deal. It might be one of the biggest deals we have to deal with on a moment-to-moment basis. We all have a narrative in our heads about who we are, about what we are. We give ourselves labels like strong, honest, faithful, kind, gentle, powerful, etc. These words represent ideas that help determine our behavior in any given situation. The more we exhibit this behavior, the stronger we identify with these ideas. For example, if we consistently lie, we could not view ourselves as being honest. If we are not kind, we would less identify with the idea of kindness. So these ideas can exist as thoughts. We can know them and understand them, but if we do not tailor our behavior to mirror them, we cannot identify with them as being part of us. They just exist as part of life, a part of human psyche, but not a part that we have adopted as the fabric of our being. I believe that if we constantly break our word to ourselves, if we constantly or intermittently let ourselves down by not fulfilling our own convictions, we create a different narrative than those ideals we cherish and wish to associate with. We create a cycle, the cycle of expectation, disappointment, negative self-talk, and forgiveness. The idea that we should forgive ourselves over and over for these tiny infractions, I think, is a trap. It's heralded as self-kindness or self-love, but it is far from kind. I'm not saying that we should berate ourselves when we don't meet our own expectations, but I think we need to understand the emotional impact of such actions and alter our behavior to honor the communication. Self-forgiveness seems productive and positive, but only if used as a tool and not a coping mechanism for unwanted behavior. Using forgiveness for this purpose can plant the seeds of self-loathing, of anxiety, and victimhood. The cycle can play a prominent role in our daily lives, influencing our decisions and wreaking havoc on our self-confidence as we fight ourselves about who we are and what we are capable of. This kind of pattern affects every part of our life, our work life, relationships, parenting. Every interaction is tinged with how you feel about yourself. The idea behind making our bed every morning is that we tell ourselves we will make it, and then we do. We tell ourselves we will do laundry, and then we do it. We tell ourselves we will read more, and we do it. Eat less, do it. Walk more, do it. Be kinder, do it. Be the kind of person who does what they say they will do, even when it is only for ourselves. It's easy to hold to this conviction when we perceive a tangible victim. If we give our word to someone, we'll keep it. Most of us anyway, because if we don't, we're letting someone down or we'll be judged as unreliable. When we break our word to ourselves, we are the victim. We judge ourselves as unreliable. We don't trust ourselves to follow through on the little things and in turn, the big things. And it's precisely in the small, menial seeming betrayals that the coals of these emotions get stoked. The tasks, the unfulfilled desires, the unmet goals, the daily I should haves, I meant to, the I am such an idiot thoughts is different for all of us. We all have different ways we want to live, ways we want to behave, and things we want to do. The point is, if we tell ourselves we're going to do something, we do it. Or change your mind and don't do it. But don't leave it on the table and have a negative emotion when it's not done day after day. If we put something on the table, we do it, no matter what it is. Obviously, we have to be reasonable. We cannot wish for an impossible achievement and then lament ourselves for not meeting an impossible goal. But if we set realistic standards and achievable goals and then meet them every time, something will happen within us. For much of my life, I let things slide. I made plans with myself and broke them all the time. Told myself some things weren't important, that I was tired, I would get to it, I was lazy, listless. There was no harm in it. I could not see the harm in it at all. At the same time, I wondered why I struggled to achieve some of the bigger goals I had. I couldn't see how the two might be related, till I did the opposite. Over a 5-year span, I began to make changes. I woke up when I said I would. I cleaned when I said I would. I listened when I said I would. I said what I told myself I would say. Eventually, I did what I said I would do every time. I followed through on everything, even when I was tired, even when I was not into it, and I became a different person inside. I respected myself more. I trusted myself. I looked for approval less. I had less anxiety. My sleep got better. My story changed. I was the type of person who did what they said they were going to do, down to the tiniest detail. It was contagious. It reached all parts of my life. My self-talk was positive, but most importantly, I was the type of person I could rely on for everything. Over time, when I was able to look at the world with this knowledge, it was a different world. It was one where I determined how I felt about myself. It was a world where the story of who I was on the inside matched who I was on the outside. That's really beautiful. I love reading these things that my husband wrote. And that one about that self-trust, integrity, following through so you can rely on yourself. I mean, that's huge. It takes away the negative self-thought when we follow through, or we say, you know what, I'm not going to do that, right? Instead of kind of being wishy-washy and not doing one thing one way or another and then kind of beating yourself up over that. So it is the small things. I think that is really the takeaway there. Start small, right? The story is making the bed every day. Making the bed. It works on every aspect of your being. Whatever making the bed is, pick the one thing and stick to it. Stick to a something that is realistic, that you would like to integrate, and do it and see what happens, and do it and see what happens, and do it and see what happens. And if one day you don't do it, you say, give myself permission to not do it, and you let it go, and there's no emotions around that, and then you start doing it again the next day. And you see how that changes the fabric of your being. Trusting yourself, relying on yourself, right? Generating the qualities within yourself that you really want to reflect into the world is everything. It's so important. So thanks, Josh, for bringing this reflection into the world, and hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to you commenting. If you're on YouTube, then subscribe, share, comment. and see you soon.